G'day and welcome to the bonus training for how to build your perfect message. If you're still trying to figure out how to overcome the boring headlines and you're still trying to please everyone and you're reaching nobody, this is going to help you overcome that. In this short training video, we're going to go through several steps on what it is you need to make your message perfect for your audience. So let's get started. So one of the easiest ways to start is to actually start by outlining the problems that your perfect prospects have. And this is going to be drawing on your experience a little bit. You could apply a little bit of logic to it if you're only getting started. But essentially what you're looking to do is to think about the problems that your ideal clients need to overcome. What are the questions that they're asking? What are the problems that they have? And that's pretty much the perfect place to start with creating your, just by picking a problem and and there are a number of formulas that you can use for headlines, and we've actually got that in another one of our guides that you can download. But just by outlining a particular problem in a way that makes people stop and look, and then going through solving that problem in your content, is going to get you the engagement and the likes, the shares, comments that people like to have on their comment, to just help them know that they're actually helping people and making a difference. If you're going to be writing a long piece of content, so if you're going over a couple of thousand words, maybe you're doing 5,000-7,000 words, maybe it's an in-depth problem that you're solving. At the start of your content, you probably want to highlight what it is that you're going to go through, and maybe even give them something that will keep them there until when you do start writing about the problem that people have. Really, so the purpose of this course is to get you to understand all of the elements of what it takes to generate organic leads. And so by using keywords, you're going to need to understand a few things. So you're going to be having to do some work on SEO, and you're going to need to understand a little bit about how to investigate what are good keywords, what are bad keywords, what people are searching for, so the long tail keywords in the form of questions most often, so that you can tailor your content around that to reach the max. You should already have an idea of the level of content that you're going to produce, but it's actually also a good idea to use the keywords that you're thinking of to actually go and do some searches based around that keyword, and just look at the top 3 or 4 results, maybe the top 5, to see what else has already been produced about that subject. And that will give you a good indicator of whether or not the level that you're thinking of going in at. So if there's only 300, 500, 700 word pieces of content around that subject, and you've gone in thinking, well, actually I was going to go much deeper, that could actually be a good thing, but it will depend on some other factors. So first of all, how well is the other content performing? So does it deliver? Is it concise? Do they have their own lead magnets? Have they got cheat sheets that people can download? Are they getting a lot of engagement on their content? Does it have likes and shares? So all of this potentially could be an indicator, as if you're planning on going big on something, or if you're only planning on writing a few words, but all of the content that comes up are 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 word pieces of content, it may give you an indication of where the level is for you to actually start competing with those rankings. Now, obviously, the length of a piece of content isn't the be all and end all, and there are a number of other factors that you would have to look at, and we do go into this in much more depth in how to identify the A-listers, which comes later in our local celebrity leads mastery roadmap. And we do have another giveaway on that as well, identifying the A-listers. But understanding who your competition are and what they're producing and what else they're doing. So how much are they focusing on their SEO for their business? Can you see if they've got a strategy for backlinks, for example? Are they producing a lot of content? Are they quite prolific? And do they have a big audience? Are they getting a lot of attention? These will all determine on how easy it might be to outrank a particular keyword or a piece of content, in the search engines. So it's definitely well worth not just being aware of what it is you want to write. And that's not to say that you shouldn't write it, even if it is really difficult to actually rank for that particular piece of content and that keyword, because people will still find it on your website through other related content that maybe you can rank. So that's not to say that you shouldn't create the content, but it may dictate the order in which you create it, so that you potentially, if you don't have any rankings right now, you create some of the content that's potentially easier to rank and get some rankings on your content, and then you can actually use that to leverage some slightly more difficult to rank content later on. It's a slightly more advanced SEO tactic, but it does work quite well if you know what you're doing. And obviously, if you want to know more about that, do feel free to ask. We can possibly give you a bit more info on that. But the point being is that it's not just about what you want to write right now. It's how effective is that in your overall plan for creating your evergreen content for lead generation in the long term. And like I say, actually creating certain pieces that maybe you're not so interested and maybe you don't think are as relevant right now, just to build up your presence and your ranking on the search engines, can help later on with pieces of content that are actually going to be more difficult to rank. Another way that you can really, it's not just giving out concise information and being systematic and working through problems, step 1, step 2, step 3. Incorporate stories and having that connection. So telling stories, people love stories, everyone loves a story. If you can talk about how you came to this process, how many other people you've helped with it, why it works so well, why it's so effective, and maybe drop in some of the success stories that you've had by using this method, are all going to be things that not only help people connect with what you're telling them in terms of this is how you solve the problem ABC, but it's also going to help them remember it, because they'll remember the story, they'll remember the people that you talk about, remember if you've got some horror stories or some amazing successes that you can get them to relate to, and help them realize that even from where they are they can achieve XYZ because other people have done it, then that's going to make it much more memorable, and it will get people coming back to you for more. When you create your content, it's really important that it's not just well written and it addresses the issues that you've outlined and it's done in an orderly fashion. It's also got to look good. So in terms of how you present your content, it's got to look nice, it's got to be presented nicely, it's got to excite the eyes. When people see your content, if they just come to your page, it's just a massive block of text, it possibly won't excite them that much. But if you've broken it down and you've got headings and subheadings and bullet points and pictures and maybe a graph if it's relevant and highlighted text, these things draw the eye and they make it more pleasing. And it really is something that you need to work on. So in the guide that you've just signed up for, there is a page on all the various things that you can do to break up. But you should, when you're creating your content, you should be aware that if you get into a situation where actually you're listing out something in a sentence. So you talk about making a number of steps. Well, visually, that might be better to break it out into bullet points. When you're speaking about it on camera, obviously that's a little bit more to do. So you would just speak it naturally as a sentence. Maybe you would emphasize certain things as you break it down into each step. But visually, when people read it, as a set of bullet points, it's something that they can go through really quickly and understand, oh, actually, yeah, I see what they're talking about. And you select step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, then go on to the next part and explain why. So actually having that vision, when somebody first lands on your page, and having it look nice can be just as important as how well it's written and how concise and how good the information is contained within. Because if people just, like I say, they're just hit with a big block of text, a lot of people won't stay and read that. So that is something that's very important for really getting your message across, because if they don't read it, they're not going to get your information, they're not going to be helped, they're going to go and look elsewhere. Now, once you've actually finished giving that information, we do talk about this later on up in step 8 of the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery program, but essentially delivering can be done at this point. So you've given them all of the information they need. So you've outlined a problem, you've solved that problem with a series of steps, your story, maybe you've your message, something personal about what you stand for, why it's important that things are done this way because XYZ. But then having a guide or a checklist or something that can be downloaded, printed, used as a guide or a reminder, so that one, it helps people more. So you could possibly take what you've done and just really break it down into a really concise cheat sheet or series of steps that they can check off as they do them. But it also gives you a way of collecting an email address, maybe getting them into a messenger conversation. If you're using a chat bot, brilliant. You definitely should use that to get people to grab your piece of content, whatever that might be. And it really does also show people that you're not just there, you're not trying to sell them something. You've actually helped with a really big problem, and now you're prepared to help them even more, so you're really over delivering, which, like I say, step 8 of the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery program. But lead magnets, everybody loves for free, but there are also ways and means of actually laying that out such that you can add more value to it. So depending on how you phrase it, so if it's just people might think, well, they just want my email address, but as a bonus, and then you can list out some other things that you're also delivering within that. That gets them thinking of the value side, rather than just everybody knows that nothing comes for free in this life. You're not doing this as you just want to help everybody and you never want to get paid. Obviously you want to get paid, but you want to get paid for delivering your service, and it's a really good service, but nobody believes they're going to get anything for free. So it is a case of, again, positioning things in the right way and making sure that they're understanding the value that you deliver. Expert, why your services will include in, potentially your currencies and all the other things that, we've talked about up to getting to this point in the roadmap, and that then, make you much more relatable to people and have people much more trusting of what it is you're trying to do for them. So it's all in the positioning and the message and the layout and the stories and everything else, and that all to view that, well, it turns you into the expert. You are literally positioning yourself as the expert, and you're delivering on that by helping them with their problem, and then even more when they get to the end. So lead magnets are really fantastic for that, and if you're not using them already, you definitely should be. Now finally, and this is particularly for blog posts, if you're on using Facebook or whatever, and particularly if you've done the content in Facebook, so you can actually link to other pieces of content within Facebook without limiting your reach at all. But if it's taking them away from Facebook onto your blog post or landing page or something like that, you need to keep that out of the main body of content and put it in the comments, or get people to ask for it so that you only send it to them by Messenger. But in your blog post, other related content is actually part of the on-page SEO strategy, and it's basically part of your internal linking structure. So if at the bottom of a piece of content, your lead magnet, you put another 3-6 pieces of content, whatever, depends what your layout is, what is of your blog post. But if you've got more content that's related and solves the problem maybe in more depth, or talks about something related, then that is also going to enhance your positioning as an expert. And it may be something they didn't think of, it may be something they already know the answer to, but the fact that it's there, and the fact that you're giving more information, more help, and hopefully you've got lead magnets on those pages as well to help them even more once you've solved their problem, it sets up this little ecosystem of, you really know what you're talking about, you have all of the answers, you know everything that they need to know to get to where they want to be. So whatever service it is, whatever problem it is they're looking to overcome, that's essentially part of your message. And so designing the perfect message is really, it's getting specific on a problem, talking to a specific avatar, a particular person, because you don't want to try and help all people and do all things. If you've been doing that, you probably will find that you've reached nobody. A perfect message is a specific problem aimed at a specific person, laid out in a way that's simple to and easy to understand and consume. And then when it gets to the end and people have got their answer, you're also them over-delivering by saying, look, we've given you the answers, but if you want a bit more, here's something that you can take away and keep. And they give you their email address, they go into your messenger sequence or whatever, and that really is the basis of creating a perfect message for your potential clients. So that is something that ultimately is going to really help you with your content creation by keeping those few things in mind. And like I say, once you get your guide and you download that, there will be some instructions in there about what you can do on the layout of your page, and we'll also take it a bit further. And there's a few little tips in the guide about keywords, competitors, the lead magnet, and how to promote that. So that's it really for this little guide. If you look at where the message comes in the overall program, let me just switch to the guide. So you can see on the roadmap we're essentially in step 3 on this. So it's listed as brand. I was actually going to change that and it looks like I forgot, so hey, I'm only human. But essentially, brand is an important part of it. Obviously we do work on brand and your brand message and incorporating that into your content and how to create the perfect message. So, but essentially you can see we're in step 3. So if you've not done the auditing and the reviewing and setting your goals, and you haven't got your currency yet and figured out exactly what your message is and worked on your content creation plan, those are all things you probably want to get done before you start really thinking about creating your perfect message, because essentially they are all the foundation and the building blocks to get up to this level. Now, if that's something that you'd like to know more about, then please do feel free to get in touch. You can contact us through the comments under this video, or you can go to a group, our Facebook page, get in touch with me personally on my messenger. If you just put in free call, we'll get in touch with you and we'll give you some more details on the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery coaching program, where we'll coach you through all 9 steps, and we actually deliver some done for you content and services throughout that program as well. So if that's something that's of interest to you and you want to work through the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery roadmap and work towards getting organic leads completely on autopilot, then free call in the comments or in a messenger chat and we will reach out and get in touch with you. That's it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you find it helpful. If you've got any questions, obviously, please do comment below. Please like this video and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this. That's it for today. So until the next time, take care.